EA and BioWare are working on an Anthem fix for the PS4 crash issue. This is coming from BioWare and EA's own website. BioWare has identified what's causing Anthem to crash on PS4s, and he fixed that is coming March 12th coming March 12th. I'm sorry. BioWare's Chad Robertson says it has, quote, identified several causes for the temporary power down crash some PS4 users have experienced. Continuing the quote from Chad Robertson, fixes for the top issues are in the patch next week. If you encounter a game crash where your PS4 console won't respond, you can manually power down and restart it. No risk of damage. After thorough review, we have not encountered an instance where Anthem has bricked a PS4 console, end quote. So tell me what you...
I guess I want to hear more from your perspective on this, because you've encountered these issues with Anthem.
Yes, I have. Oh, God.
So, I guess enlighten me on it.
Okay, so the game, as I've said in the review, and if you haven't, please go ahead and watch the review. But in our review, I have stated that when I was playing Anthem, it hard crashed my system. And I think twice. It happened to me 2 times. And those 2 times, I believe, was when I was in the heat, I was in a firefight, smiting enemies with lightning and stuff like that. And it hard crashed system, so what happens is that my system froze, and then the system just shut off on itself. So I kind of, I held the power button to turn it back on, and that's when the PS4 has to rebuild its database, and you don't want to do that too often because you can corrupt the data on your system, hence bricking your system. So that happened to me twice. On the second time it happened, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I wash my hands of this. I wash my hands of this foolishness. But with Anthem, I'm glad that they found a patch and a fix to that, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, dude, you should know this is a thing. It just seems like this game wasn't tested before it was released. And the only testing was those VIP beta testing that we had, which these are some easy steps that should have been taken care of, but they weren't. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know that we have talked about it. I haven't seen you, but we have talked a bit about this, and I know you keep tabs on this kind of stuff. What's your thought on this?
I mean, it's kind of messed up, especially when it could, potentially, the extent of the problem here. I mean, it's going to cause, real, not harm to your system, but I mean, even if it wipes a hard drive, that's a big freaking inconvenience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the case of, this was rushed out. We saw this before with Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mm-hmm.
It was a game that was rushed out. There was a load of problems with it. It's there to meet a deadline. Like I said, really the perplexing thing about Anthem to me is just releasing it so close in tandem with Apex.
Apex Legends.
That just I feel like there's some cannibalization of the sales there. I don't know. I guess I would have released it at a different time, or I don't know what the strategy was there. Maybe it's just because it was delayed. That had something to do with it. It's just I don't know. I guess the whole thing reeks of just being rushed. And I mean, unfortunately, you were a victim to that. So.
I mean, but this isn't the first time EA has done that. They went ahead and cannibalized Titanfall 2. Back in 2017, that was when we had Battlefield 1, and I believe it was Infinite Warfare, I believe. Because, Black Ops 4 came out in 2018.
There was a couple other big games.
Oh, no, World War II. I'm sorry, with World War II.
There was a couple other big games that came out around that time. But, you had Battlefield 1, which is still, one of the greatest.
But what I mean by that is that Call of Duty... it was Battlefield 1 came out first, then Titanfall 2 the week after. This is during the holiday, mind you.
Yeah.
So you have Battlefield 1 come out first... Then Titanfall 2 comes out the next week, and then after that is Call of Duty World War II. So you have the 2 big shooters that everyone buys. You're either Camp Battlefield or Camp Call of Duty. Those are the two. And then you have this game that sits in the middle that, like, critically good game. But the sales of it just died because are you going to go ahead and buy all three of these within the same week? And then you have these two games, like take a Call of Duty, you have these two games, that Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2, that are fighting against each other for sales.
Yeah, it feels like they pushed it out to die in some ways, but it felt like they kind of just had to release it. But yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. I mean, hopefully for the people that bought it, they kind of pull a I was going to bring this up eventually.
Yeah, go ahead.
They kind of pull a Fallout 76 where they kind of patch together and fix the game slowly but surely to the point where it is it's kind of what the final release should have been.
The people are calling this Anthem 76. I've been seeing that going around. People are calling this Anthem 76.
And like I said, I defend Fallout 76, but I mean, what happens is that one of the nice things about modern games is that we can patch them, we can update them. 76 is a good example of that, where a lot of the glitches that if you go back and read the original reviews, a lot of the glitches and problems of the game have more or less been resolved at this point. So I'm not saying it's a perfect game by any means at this point, but a lot of the basic stuff that you would think would work and the glitchy stuff that should be fixed in a final version of a game is now fixed. It just happened 3 months later.
But the problem with that is that the game comes out first, and you put the people who are playing this game and reviewing it at the start are pretty much giving it poor reviews. And yes, you may get a better game down the line. Like, look at again, another example is Destiny. We now finally have the Destiny that we've all wanted in Destiny Forsaken. That is the best version of Destiny. But it took 6 years to go ahead and get that going.
These games are a work in progress. Right?
And we've had Destiny has had pretty much kind of got major fixes, especially when Taken King came out. That was when Taken King came out, that was where a lot of Destiny fans came back. Well, okay, this is much better. But you've already burned your fan base, so people who oh, this looks cool, let me try it, and then they get burned on Anthem. They're not going to go back to Anthem. They're going to go ahead and play, Fortnite or Apex or something else. And the reason why Apex came out, as I said before, EA had no faith in that game at all, and that's why they released it in February, because they were like, fine, whatever, go ahead and release it, we don't care. And now it's killing the sales of Anthem because people are playing it and buying the microtransactions and doing that. So there's that game, and then you also have just Anthem just kind of not finished. You know?
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, that's what I don't want to get on a huge thing about Anthem. I mean, you guys did the review.
Yeah. It's just release a finished game. Release a finished game. I understand it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be I get it. Some games do come out and they are perfect, but even those perfect games have its own problems. There is no perfect game, but have a finished game. Have a game that doesn't crash your PS4.
Yeah, right. You would hope at least they would get the basics right.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But